Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of our mini devlog series where I show you guys this cool little project I've been working on in Godot. And in this episode, we worked on creating the pickaxe that hovers behind the player and can attack to kill bats. Next episode, I should be making ores so we can use the pickaxe to mine also and perhaps more enemies. So, this episode's been shortened down to like 12 minutes. Although there was actually like 4 hours of recording I had to go through for this, because this actually did take me much longer than expected. It was a lot more complicated, so you guys are only seeing the bare minimum footage, because I didn't want to make this video too long. So yeah, I'll try to explain what I can as we go, and thank you guys for watching. Alright, so we started out by making a new scene for our pickaxe, which I had designed in Sprite before I started recording. It was pretty simple. Again, I'm going for a very simple art style in this game. It's not supposed to be about the art. It's mainly just me learning to code and how to make this stuff work. So I didn't put too much effort into the sprites. So we started out with a character body 2D for the pickaxe, which I'm not 100% sure why I chose that. I think just because I would have a lot more variety with what I could do with the pickaxe. Because the whole point of this pickaxe was it's supposed to be almost like sentient. It follows you around and listens to what you do. So we started out with a basic code here, and then I had to add in an animation player because that would be the easiest way to make the pickaxe move. Unfortunately, I had to redo the animation like 4 times because it was not working the way I intended it to. And then I ended up having to delete the animation and remake it under something else. So this was a very grueling process. It was not fun. Like I said, I almost gave up a couple times, but we stayed in. So I'm gonna play some music and let this play out, and I'll pop in and out when I need to explain something else. Alright, so now I just set up the input map for the attack, and this was our first playtest. And as we can see, it's way too big, first off, and it goes too far. So I thought just adjusting the scale would be enough, but as we can see here, it still throws it way too far. I mean, it's not even supposed to be throwing, it's supposed to be a swing animation. So this was an issue. I had to test it out a few times just to make sure everything else was working. But ultimately, this would be the first of many roadblocks that I encountered during this. But at the moment, we've made decent progress. At least we have it to follow the player and throw. So I started going through the animation, thinking that was messed up, trying to see how far it goes. But in the animation, you can see it barely goes far. The problem was the animation and our player were like completely different scales. So it didn't end up working out that well. And changing the scale under the transform of your animation itself, or the pickaxe itself, was that will not change the animation length at all. So here I literally started measuring with the protractor tool to try and figure out what was going on, and I just could not figure it out at the moment. So I think what I end up doing right after this is I end up just building the pickaxe from scratch underneath or in the player scene. I do that right here. That way I can make the animation player just edit the pickaxe that's in the player scene. That way I can see the player as I'm editing the animation. And the pickaxe doesn't necessarily need to be its own thing anyway, since it should only be used with the player. So that's what I did here. Alright, so here when we go to test it out again, after redoing the pickaxe and animations, we can see that it now goes right in front of the player, which we want it to do. But it is pretty slow, so I did come down to the animation player and try and move everything down a bit to make it faster, because it was way too slow for my liking at the time. But I'm pretty sure we run into some issues with the collision shapes soon after this. But yeah, I did have to shorten the animation down quite a bit because it was way too long. So as we see here, it's a lot faster. But the issue that came up was, if we look here, every time I swing the pickaxe, it moves our character down a bit. And at first I was confused about this, but I ended up figuring out the issue was that our pickaxe in the animation player has something that disables and enables the collision shape. And if we see right here, when we turn the collision shape on, or turn on visible collision shapes, the collision shapes turns on as it hits our player's head, so it essentially just bumps our player down. As we see right here, the collision shape interacts with the player's collision shape. Now, I did fix this, but in the end, I wouldn't have even needed to do this because that collision shape gets replaced with an area 2D later on anyway, since it needs to be able to detect the bats and later on the ores that we can mine. But, I mean, it worked for now, so baby steps, I guess. Alright, I'm back. So, as you are about to see here, we have just finished creating the attack function for our pickaxe, enabling it to be able to kill our bats. So, I did slow down the bat's movement speed by quite a lot here to make this a lot easier for testing. But as you see, we did make the bats get one-shotted at the moment. That might change later, but just for testing purposes, we had to make sure it worked. As you see here, though, I had to rebuild the entire animation over again, because I had the animation editing just the editing the entire pickaxe scene when that was causing a lot of issues on the reason why it would not flip. So what we had to do was we added a node 2D in there, and then we made our damage area and our sprite a child of that, and we named it visuals. So then what we did there is we just recreated the animation under visuals. That way it only changed the visuals and the collision shape's position and not the actual sprite itself. So as we can see here, it does attack both directions and it does return behind the player. But the issue is when I change directions without attacking, it does not swap behind me. So we're making progress, but I need it to be able to move behind me without me attacking every time I move. So we're about to get into that, and it did take me a lot of troubleshooting here, but thankfully you guys don't have to look through all that. Alright, so after having a crap ton of issues with trying to get the pickaxe to follow behind the player and switch sides when I face directions, I was working on this for a while. No matter what I did, it just would not work. So I had the idea, since the pickaxe was a child of our player, and right now the only way our player faces directions is just flipping the sprite, I thought, why don't I just flip the entire player? That way the pickaxe flips with it. So I thought that would work. That's what we did here. As you see, it's really jittery, and technically it works. Kind of. The pickaxe switches sides, but not the right side, and it still only attacks to the left. But we made progress. In the end, I did not keep it like this. So, yeah. So I ended up stopping the recording because I thought I was going to be done for the night. And then I ended up saying, you know what, no, I want to get this done tonight because it was really starting to annoy me. And I knew that I would be very upset if I had to wake up in the morning and try and figure it out without remembering everything I had done the night before. So I did end up figuring it out, but again, I stopped the recording. So I started recording again as soon as I figured it out. So this is just me showing you the code for my pickaxe. There is a few new variables in here. The main thing is that it finally follows behind the player, and also it bobs up and down to kind of make it feel like a bit more alive. So as we see, it sits behind the player, it switches sides when we move, it attacks in either direction, and I think just like the floating up and down added like a lot more life to it. I was pretty happy with it. It still kills the bats. I have yet to add the bats death animation, but I'll probably be doing that in the next video. But yeah, that's pretty much all for this video. This one took me a while, and even as I'm editing it now, I'm really tired because I spent a long time making this. So thank you guys for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would like and comment down below if there's anything you guys would like to see. Thank you.